Women for Biodiversity convened leaders and experts in Cali, Colombia for the pre-COP16 conference, Advancing Gender Equality Through Strategic Data. This event was a vital meeting point to explore the connection between gender and biodiversity. With an energetic opening ceremony, the foundation was laid for a dialogue aimed at making a lasting impact. The commitment is clear. Today's discussions should promote enduring change, recognizing the essential role of women in biodiversity conservation. This leads us to a fundamental question: how will gender data transform our approach to conservation and environmental policies?
Women for Biodiversity has organized this conference, Gender and Data Conference. And the focus of this conference is advancing gender equality through strategic data insights. The purpose of having the conference was to assess the importance of not only having the gender data, which is available, but also with the understanding that what kind of data is available and what kind of data should be made available.
I'm Jillian Campbell. I lead the work on planning, monitoring, review, and reporting for the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity. For this 16th Conference of the Parties, the theme is Peace with Nature. And so peace with nature is seen as the foundation for achieving the global biodiversity framework. The relationship between people and the environment is the foundation for the framework. And so without having information on how different people, so how women and men interact with biodiversity, what are the constraints that they're facing, where are their needs, how are they utilizing natural resources, how are they experiencing pollution? Without understanding this, we're not going to be able to address some of the underlying drivers of what's causing biodiversity loss, and we're also not going to be able to build from the successes.
Mi nombre es Rolando Crespo, soy coordinador de la Estrategia de Estadística de Género en ONU Mujeres Colombia. En esta oportunidad quiero reflexionar sobre un punto bien específico. ¿Cuál es el aporte realmente de las políticas, de las estadísticas en clave de las políticas globales? Realmente, si nosotros podemos tener la información suficiente y generar la evidencia que nos permita motivar transformaciones en claves de política pública, es lo que nos va a dar la base para poder avanzar en las transformaciones que queremos de cara a la igualdad de género a nivel no solo de país, sino también a nivel global. Si no podemos generar la suficiente evidencia para comprender justamente dónde están las principales brechas de género, no vamos a ser capaces de identificar las necesidades que deben de ser evacuadas bajo política pública.
The work that begins here transcends COP16. Each advance in data and gender equity is a step towards a world where biodiversity protection and equality are intertwined priorities. This is just the beginning of a change that will be strengthened with every action, every policy, and every voice.
As we gather here in Cali for the CBD COP16, where a lot of the work is going to go around informing the National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plans for the Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, and a key element on the implementation is the monitoring framework. Now, the importance of disaggregated data on gender is that it will allow the governments to at least have direct actions and policies for planning at the national level. We have seen before that has been one of the biggest challenges that has also been identified by the parties to the convention. So we really see that this is also an important stream of line that we see on gender data being something that can also bring synergies with the 3 Rio sister conventions.
In the first session, titled The Power of Data, Understanding the State of Gender and Environmental Data, experts emphasized the need for gender disaggregated data to understand how gender and biodiversity are intertwined, as well as the obstacles in their collection and prioritization. This raises a fundamental question: why are gender disaggregated data essential for environmental policy?
La importancia de tener información desagregada por género para la toma de decisiones de políticas públicas en temas medioambientales es fundamental. Eso nos permitirá desagregar y tener realmente una focalización, así como un seguimiento y un monitoreo a todos los indicadores que vayamos produciendo poco a poco. ¿Por qué con enfoque de género? Porque realmente son diferenciales. no solamente en materia de mercado laboral, donde claramente hay una segregación de trabajos, donde también tenemos una división entre los trabajos de cuidado, sobre todo, que incluyen también los temas de cuidado medioambientales y los trabajos remunerados, sino que también en materia de producción, conservación y cuidado tenemos un enfoque diferencial por género.
My name is Kate Oren, and I'm with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. The availability and use and communication and constant testing and validation and enriching of gender data is absolutely essential to biodiversity policymaking, environmental outcomes across the board. And we know this from data that we already have that has shown, for example, that gender equitable natural resource management committees are delivering better biodiversity outcomes.
Mi nombre es Paola Lara, yo hago parte del Ministerio de Ambiente de Colombia, hago parte del equipo de actualización del Plan de Acción de Biodiversidad, soy la consultora de género. Desde el gobierno hemos adoptado esta necesidad de poder acoger las necesidades que tienen las mujeres en sus diferentes territorios para poder dar respuestas efectivas frente a lo que ellas nos plantean. Un poco lo que nos permite esta desagregación por género es identificar que efectivamente los impactos que tenemos las mujeres en el marco del cuidado, conservación, uso y distribución equitativa de los beneficios no se da de igual manera que con nuestros pares hombres, y eso implica un reto para las administraciones gubernamentales.
Hi, Benjamin Schachter with the United Nations Human Rights Office. Gender equality is a human right, and our office is very excited about developments that will help us better measure its implementation in the context of biodiversity. If we can measure things, we can make sure that the rights of women and girls are better upheld and reflected in action to protect biodiversity. We can make sure that decisions are informed by the best information possible. And this, in fact, is a matter of human rights obligation to ensure that decision-making is informed, inclusive, and participatory. So that's why we're really pleased to be part of this discussion and to see that the work being done to ensure that data is disaggregated, that decisions are better informed, and better able to support efforts to respect, protect, and fulfill human rights, including gender equality.
Data is not just numbers. It is a tool that can drive real and lasting change. By integrating a gender perspective into conservation, we can forge a fairer and more sustainable future for everyone. Let's use this information to transform our communities and protect our planet.
Si nosotros comprendemos realmente qué es lo que necesitamos transformar partiendo de lo que realmente logramos medir, es cómo finalmente avanzaremos de cara a las transformaciones que necesitamos para acelerar la igualdad de género, pero también el empoderamiento de las mujeres en cualquier parte del mundo. Por tanto, las estadísticas en su conjunto constituyen un activo clave y vital para cualquier país para poder avanzar y acelerar estas transformaciones que son requeridas.
In the second session, Tools and Techniques, Integrating Gender into Environmental Data Systems, we discussed how to turn disaggregated data into concrete strategies. Experts shared innovative practices to make these data accessible and applicable in environmental policies. The question we posed is, how can these tools be translated into effective conservation actions?
Soy Ninfa Herrera Domínguez del pueblo Huitoto de la Amazonía colombiana, Omurui. También hago parte de la Comisión Nacional de Mujeres Indígenas y Coordinación de Mujer en Autoridades Tradicionales Indígenas de Colombia. Para nosotras es muy importante tener unos datos estadísticos claros, porque así podemos nosotros mismos tener la capacidad de poder construir nuestras propias políticas que realmente atiendan a ese buen vivir, a ese vivir sostenible que hacemos las mujeres de estos 115 pueblos en Colombia. También podríamos decir que es muy importante para hacer la construcción, pero más que allá es esa participación y esa visibilización de ese trabajo tan importante que hace la mujer a través de la sabiduría, a través de ese conocimiento que hemos llevado milenariamente para poder conservar nuestra biodiversidad.
Olá, eu sou Josileia Caingangue, eu sou indígena do povo Caingangue, da região sul do Brasil. Eu sou diretora executiva da Articulação Nacional das Mulheres Indígenas Guerreiras da Ancestralidade. E os povos indígenas têm feito um esforço muito grande para poder captar dados sobre as nossas comunidades, sobre os nossos territórios. E a Articulação Nacional das Mulheres Indígenas também tem feito um esforço para captar dados tanto sobre as mulheres em situação de violência, e isso inclui o meio ambiente, inclui territórios muitas vezes não protegidos, e nessas discussões a gente conseguiu organizar vários dados, né, para que a gente também pudesse usar, enquanto articulação nacional, enquanto esse coletivo de mulheres, informações para poder solicitar ao governo brasileiro políticas públicas que sejam implementadas para as mulheres indígenas.
Transforming data into action is essential for a sustainable future. The inclusion of women, girls, youth, and indigenous communities in this process is not only crucial, but also enriches environmental policies. Let's listen to and act on these voices to build a fairer and more sustainable world for everyone.
Women is this umbrella term for everyone who is a woman, but we're not all the same. There's different ethnicities and different IPLC women, indigenous people and local communities also have women, and the women that are in these different communities experience biodiversity in different ways as well. And so we need this sort of disaggregated data so that we can understand all of these different people. We can understand the intersectionality between women and rural areas, between women and persons with disabilities, between women and ethnicity, between women and types of work, and the same with men. And so this is really what this conference is about, is how do we find this information? How do we see how people are interacting with biodiversity so that we can best move forward together towards the vision of living in harmony with nature?
En el caso colombiano, en particular, tenemos que los temas rurales, los temas de uso de la tierra, los temas de propiedad de la tierra están todos interrelacionados y con un enfoque de género fundamental, mejorando así la calidad de vida y el bienestar de todos y todas.
On a project level, certainly we work a lot on collecting and building gender data sets to be able to enrich biodiversity programming, again, to be able to contribute to greater biodiversity outcomes. We know, for example, that project teams collecting the quantity and quality and also the frequency of gender data contributes to more adaptive, more resilient, more effective, and more sustainable project outcomes, more local accountability and ownership of the project, for example, reinforcing once again how important gender and environment data is.
In the last session, From Data to Action, we discussed how disaggregated data can transform public policies and promote sustainable development. By highlighting women's contributions to conservation, we face a crucial question. How do we ensure that their voices and knowledge are integrated into environmental decision-making?
Mi nombre es Lisa Seff, vengo de la Patagonia, Argentina, pertenezco a la Fundación Inalafken. Estamos llevando adelante un proyecto que se llama Biodiversidad, Género y Restauración, asociadas a FARN, Argentina, y a Women for Biodiversity. El apoyo de estas organizaciones nos ha permitido continuar un trabajo científico que hace más de 30 años viene desarrollando la Fundación. Y este año nuestro aporte en esta recolección de datos y en este trabajo científico que hacemos permite visibilizar el trabajo que vienen realizando las mujeres desde hace tanto tiempo.
My name is Regina Lepping. I work for Network for Indigenous People Solomons, NIPS. Women in Hagelu, they've been helping the community in conservation and looking after the forest, the biodiversity of the mountain of Hagelu and the people, including the animals. Without data, I don't think people will be able to understand how important women are to conservation, to biodiversity, sustainability of the forest and the people. Also, having data is very important because that is how we can influence policymakers into making recommendations to support our work and support our call for conservation and looking after the biodiversity of our forests and land.
My name is Sunita Kwangta, or you can call me Mo. I'm working for a career environmental and social network action. So I'm working as Women Research Coordinator. And something I would like to express about the data is, data has the power to shine women's hidden contribution. So we need to break down the barriers of inequality, and also we need to unlock their full potential. So this is going to lead us to a more sustainable and a better future.
Los datos lo que nos van a permitir es no solamente plantear la necesidad de hacer este tipo de acciones, sino además dar respuestas efectivas, asignar recursos y generar mecanismos para la implementación, el seguimiento y el monitoreo de estas acciones en los distintos territorios a nivel del país. Eso hace que efectivamente las implementaciones no sean únicamente desde documentos oficiales o desde el escritorio de funcionarios y funcionarias, sino que sea dado en construcción colectiva con las comunidades y podamos tener respuestas adecuadas para ellos y para ellas.
Proper documentation, having evidence of what's happening and spreading it through media and all other platforms to show how the data collection has been going, especially because women's work are very vital to communities and it complements the men. It doesn't, outgo what the men are doing, but it complements them and it's supposed to go together as always. What is missing now is that there's only men making decisions and most of it is unfair. So we see so much logging, so much mining happening, deforestation of the land. So we're trying to encourage again women to step into the platform and have the say, build their capacity, empower them, and they can help work together with the men to protect the land, protect the biodiversity, keep the knowledge, preserve it, and pass it on for the next generation.
Trabajar en biodiversidad y demostrar que detrás de todo eso hay un trabajo científico implica también darle el lugar y el empoderamiento que las mujeres necesitan y en que se le dé la voz a las mujeres que generalmente son las que vienen a reparar muchas veces el daño que prácticas extractivistas, prácticas economicistas muchas veces van en contra de la naturaleza. Es muy urgente tomar conciencia y actuar para poder revertir lo que parece ser un futuro que no es tan promisorio.
The pre-COP16 conference, led by Women for Biodiversity, delivers a powerful message. Gender data are tools for transformation towards an inclusive future. By recognizing the contributions of women and communities, we can drive fair policies. Let's continue working together for environmental and gender justice, creating a world where every voice counts and every action matters.